If you want to improve your mental health significantly, you need to apply yourself consistently. You can't just neglect yourself 24/7 and then go to a therapy session once a month. I'm realizing that we really need to think outside the box more than ever before. The best way for you to improve your mental health is to not be dependent on like the mainstream healing systems. You really need to take back control and power of your own healing journey and your own mental health, your own physical health. All the stuff that you can access for free or cheap is never going to be as good as the things that are going to cost you. Now, I know that people don't have thousands of dollars sitting around to go to a fancy rehab to get off their drugs, or like thousands of dollars to spend on like great therapists or anything like that. But you can do these smaller things. Like a lot of the alternatives that are out there, they seem expensive. Like $200 is sort of like the median for these alternatives, or maybe $150 to $200 for all the alternative things. But if you are kind of one of those people that has an aversion to like mainstream mental health, listen to that a little bit, because that feeling in your gut when you go into a place where you think these people don't know what they're doing, quite often there is some truth to that. Like, I don't want people to not seek help. I don't want people to sit at home and just be scared that, like, if they go to do something in mainstream that it's all going to fall apart on you, because I know there's a lot of fears. Like, I used to have a fear of, like, if I opened up about what I was feeling inside to a therapist, they would think that I'm crazy and they'd lock me in a white padded room and put me in a straitjacket like in the old movies and stuff, you know? And mental health actually was like that in the beginning stages, like after World War II and stuff. Like, you could be institutionalized and treated that way for almost nothing. Like, it was really, like, we've come a long way in terms of, like, our rights as individuals when we're dealing with doctors and psychiatrists and stuff, but it was nasty back then. So there's a reason why that's in our collective unconscious. There's a reason why you have this fear that I don't want to go to therapy, I don't want to talk to anybody because I don't want to end up like that, because that was real just a couple of generations ago, like not that long ago. So mental health was born out of a really dark, scary place, like, and like all of the movies that you've seen, like there's a lot of horror movies where they depict mental health in that way. So yeah, it's all sitting in your awareness, like, and it probably is feeding into all of the issues that you do have, because you're like, I can't get help because that's what help looks like, but it's not what help actually looks like as well. Like, you can go and access stuff. Nobody can take your autonomy and rights away from you unless you ask them to. There are a few exceptions to that in different countries. In Australia, where I live, if you're a threat to yourself or others, you can be placed on what they call an involuntary treatment order, or there's several other things that they call it, where they will perhaps put you in care, and you will actually lose a little bit of your freedom, and they might even mandate that you take some particular drugs. But it's got to be an extreme case. It's not like they can just do that to anybody. They can't just go, oh, that thing you just said, I feel like that's a bit dangerous, so I'm going to take action now. Like, you have to be really, really bad. Like, nobody wants to take your autonomy away because there's laws and legislation in place to deal with that. Like, if I did abuse my power as a practitioner in the mental health space and I tried to do I don't even have the authority to do that anyway, but if I did anything, even with the limited powers that I do have, to prevent somebody from having their own autonomy and freedom, I could be charged like pretty severely for doing that. So you are protected. Don't be afraid of going out and exploring and having a look at the services that are available, different therapists, different practitioners, different alternatives, which is what I was going to talk about a little bit before. So the alternatives aren't as expensive as they seem. Like, if you spend $150 on something outside the normal scope of mental health, my new discovery is colonics. Using is colonics hydrotherapy. I know it sounds a bit weird, but pumping the water up your butt, and like basically it clears out all of the toxins and things that are going on in your gut. There's heaps of research that says it's really good. There's heaps of research that says it's really bad and dangerous and all that. If you Google it, you can make your own decisions about it. But I've found that my physical health has improved, my mood has improved, digestion's improved, like so much goodness has come from it. And that's the thing, like any improvements that you make in your life, even if it's not like directly addressing your depression or your anxiety or your paranoia or whatever the issue that you have is, it takes a little bit of that pressure off and frees you up a little bit more so that you can apply yourself to the main problem. So that's why exercise is like, so many people in the space that have actually, with lived experience, who have been through the shit and they feel better now, they're constantly saying like, you've got to do the exercise, like, because as you get fitter and healthier and more able-bodied, like you feel like you can do more things. That translates into your mental space as well. You feel like you can deal with more mentally as you can deal with more physically. And you actually can, because you've got more oxygen in your blood, you've got more hydration in your body, you've got more nutrition, like all the things, like that holistic way of thinking, like it all comes together and it improves you on so many levels that you don't even realize you're improving on. That's where you want to arrive at. Like if you're on a mental health journey, that's what I'm talking about when I say not being dependent on the mainstream mental health system and actually freeing yourself from it. Like once you've applied yourself enough and you've got all these different things going for you, your life is improving totally independent of your therapist or any services that you've been accessing. Like, you know, if they disappeared today, like you could keep incrementally taking these smaller steps to like make your life better and better and better. And I've probably said it before and I'll say it again and I'll say it 1,000 times. If tomorrow looks better than today, that is the only feeling that you need to be really well, like emotionally well. Like when you know that like where you're going leads to better places, like it doesn't matter if, like I've spoken to people that have had like tremendous disadvantages in life, tremendous like amputees, cerebral palsy, like people that like have gone through like the most hectic things, but they know that they used to be like this and they're better now, and then the future looks even better again. It's like that is enough to make somebody full of light and full of like joy and genuine excitement. Like I'm making improvements, I'm unlocking new possibility. That's all you need. So wherever you're starting, like if you can get somewhere better and you know that you're heading there, that's the feeling that you're looking for. That's all that you really need to be well emotionally and mentally. And I know a lot of people fall into the trap like, yeah, well, my problems aren't even that bad. Like I'm not an amputee, I don't have cerebral palsy, like I don't have any of these like really debilitating things have happened to me. So like I don't, like people get into this weird spiral where they're like, I don't deserve care, I don't deserve to feel bad about myself, I don't deserve to feel depressed or anxious, I don't deserve to have problems. Like that's legitimately a very common thing that I hear. And it's like, well, you do have them. So how you feel right now, can you make it better? Like, can you make any improvements? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. There's like, if from where you're standing, you can probably see a dozen paths that you can take that can make tiny incremental improvements. Just start on one. Don't try to do it all at once. That's another mistake. Like just being like, okay, I feel like this and I want to feel like that. Like I just want to go from being like totally defeated to being totally triumphant and free, liberated, being able to just charge into the room and command life to present the image that I have in my imagination. Like, I don't need to be doing that. Just need to be making tomorrow better than today. And sometimes it goes backwards and forwards, you know? Even if you feel like you're on a downward slope for a little while, if you've built up enough history when you look back over your life where you can see that you've been able to make improvements, you know that eventually you're going to figure out how to turn that around and you're going to be able to make it better. But if you've just been on that plateau for a really long time, that's the thing that gets you. Like your life isn't actually necessarily getting worse. It feels like it is. It feels like it's getting deeper and darker when you're in that internal headspace and nothing's really changing for the better. It's easy to feel trapped and be like, yeah, everything's getting worse. But it's really just the same. The sameness is what kills us, I think. Like when we're just not applying ourselves, the knowledge that there's potential in here, and we're not using it. Like it's kind of, that's what, probably that weird guilt thing that I was talking about, where people say like I don't deserve to have problems. It's that kind of guilt feeling of like, yeah, like I'm not applying myself. I have all this potential and I'm not using it. I'm a piece of shit. Like I've seen that in myself. And now I've identified it and I'm like, well, the solution is apply yourself. Let's make some big changes. Let's do some incredible things. All the incredible things that you think that you can't do, it's just that you haven't applied yourself and tried to yet. So I hope this helps somebody take some steps in the right direction. Remember, it's just my video diary. I'm just expressing what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment. It's never intended to be advice or guidance. It's just helpful for me to articulate different things that I'm experiencing. It brings clarity to my day. I encourage other people to do some kind of journaling or diary entry process as well. It's super duper good. Click the like button for me, subscribe if you haven't already, and pass this video on to anybody you know who may benefit, because I think there's a whole bunch of incredible stuff on this channel that, for the right person, could just unlock so many new thoughts and possibilities.